Hi guys. Oh my gosh. What's up with my voice? Hi guys, how are you? Hope that everybody had a really good holiday break. I was hoping to get some rest this holiday break, but I didn't. Last night, we once again went to bed incredibly late because because we did the video, we edited it at a normal human decent time, then John had to go do some things, and he took his computer with him to export the video and then upload it. And he took the video in Premiere with him, but then he didn't take he didn't copy any of the files from my recordings from my camera onto his computer. So I had to WeTransfer it to him. And because these are pretty heavy files, it took about 8 hours. So that's been a journey. No Amish hair. Amish hair, come on. This is Amish hair. Same, but just different hairstyle. Hi, Juju. Hi, Kathleen. Hi, Grumpy. Hi, Armin. Hi, Crazy Cat. Hi, Brexis. Hi, Kayla. Hi, Carolyn. Hi, Taz. Hi, Grumpy. Again. Hi, Veronica. Hi, Lauren. Also, Kayla. The Theragun arrived, and it is literally... Thank you so very much. I need to give Kayla a shout out because Kayla had so kindly gotten the Theragun from my wish list on Amazon, and I will tell you that it has become my best friend. It has substituted my husband. I do not socialize with anyone anymore because I literally love that thing. My back feels better than it has ever felt when I was a child and had no issues with it whatsoever. When I sit like this, normally like with my knees crossed, which is the way that I find sitting the most comfortable, my knee hurts a lot because the muscle next to it is like damaged. And you know what I do? I just put the Theragun to it and I just sit there with the Theragun and I don't even feel it. I don't know who invented Theragun, but I want to write them a personal thank you note as well as to Kayla because that thing is freaking amazing. So there's that. James says, Yulia, you aren't selling the narrative that it isn't for something else very well. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, here's the thing. You know what? It is for my muscles. I use it for my back. I do use it for my knee. Yes, Theragun Mini. But it's a freaking amazing thing, you know? It's like having a masseuse in your own house that just consistently like, you know, that's just there all the time, and it's amazing. And the best part, the only thing that I would say is that someone needs to invent one of those like things that you can like mount to the wall that's like a robotic arm that sits there and just moves it around your back. So while you're sitting there, you can have like a, you know, robotic arm just move it around your back. I would so invest into a Kickstarter for that. I don't know if a lot more people would, but I definitely would. Hi Gap. Hi Taz. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kayla. Hi Casanova. So if you guys watched the brief today when it aired, John made an entrance to the chat. It was actually really funny because I asked him if he was going to watch the premiere with me, and he was like, "Yeah, I'll log in to." I gave him like channel permissions as an editor, and he was like, "I'll log in from my account." And then he was like sitting there in silence, watching in the background. And then Taz commented on the fact that the camera wasn't focused. And I was just about to tell him, "This is your perfect entrance." I look, and he is already commented. Because you have no idea how much I get every time I record these videos without him present because I no, Taz, it's fine. It was so funny. You have no idea how much crap I get for not. I'm like, it's just like, you know, I can't see on this tiny little camera screen whether it's fully in focus or not. It looks fully in focus to me. I'm sorry, I'm not a professional video maker. So, anyways, he was like, Julia, you can't focus your camera for the life of you. And I'm like, I know. And the entire time that he was editing it, he was complaining about how not in focus it is, even though it's not that not in focus. Anyways, you know what? You know what? You know what? It's getting better and better. But yeah, I hope you watched the brief. I hope you liked it. I had noticed that it had generated quite a bit of controversy on Reddit because of how I chose to because of the title that I chose because of the title that I chose to put on the brief. I mean, hey, it's a Christmas special brief. I wanted it to be more like lighthearted in some ways, and someone was commenting that the title was clickbait, and like, yeah, it is meant to generate attention for sure, but that's the whole thing, is like, it did start a discussion, right? And the thing is that the material in the brief is not clickbait by any means. It's just the phrasing that is, because that would get somebody to click on it and find out more about Ukrainian Christmas traditions. So that's my excuse, and I firmly stand by it. So if someone doesn't like the title, maybe don't judge a book by its cover. Also, you know what I like? I like that the person who commented, being so offended by the title of the brief, is a person in Our Ukraine whose handle starts off as something like that commie or something like that, or that commie's backup. And I'm like, oh, aren't you one to judge the book by its cover with that handle? Um, but that's just me being a little bitter. How is everybody doing? Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Happy holidays to you too. Ooh, Santa Monica, your weather, the weather there must be so nice too. Thank you. So yeah. So yeah, I hope you guys have had really good holidays. I hope you have had fun. I definitely had an extended holiday because I just, I needed some rest. I'm still kind of struggling. I've been struggling to get back into like an I'm not even trying to get back into a normal sleeping schedule anymore. I'm trying to get back into like a before 5 a.m. sleeping schedule now. Like, we're not trying to go for like midnight anymore. We're trying to go for like 2 or 3, because at this point, like, there is absolutely no way that I can do lives at 4 p.m. Eastern, because by 4 p.m. Eastern, after I wake up, I need a nap. And so it's been like really difficult to get back into like a normal human routine. So that's what I continuously am working on. Hopefully tonight I'll be able to go to bed earlier, and yeah, we shall see. So I'm sorry that lives have been so late in the day recently, but hopefully that still works for some of you, and for those of you that it doesn't work for, then I hope that you do watch the streams on YouTube later, and I swear I'll be getting back to a more normal schedule soon. Casanova soared too much shoveling. Ooh, is it snowing is it snowing heavy where you're at? Hi, Grumpkin. Grumpkin, what's up? Cindy just came by. Do you want to? Well, I know that if I bring you up and you sit in my lap, you're not going to want to sit in my lap for a long time, and then I'm going to have to put you back down. So why don't you just go lay on the bed? Or yeah, eat your bone. That's a good choice too. Sorry. Cindy is here, and Cindy is being needy. Oh no. Oh no. She set herself, and she's now sitting here with like this face. And that face never means anything good. That face means that she's going to be doing that very soon. What? I know you. When was Cindy not needy? Never. Cindy was born needy. But anyways, so today we're gonna. Hi, Mad Max. So today the thumbnail reads Russia's expulsion from the UN, and We will talk about that first and foremost. Ukraine has been talking about expelling Russia from the United Nations for a very long time, and we have been advocating for it to happen and for it being incredibly important on several different based on like different reasoning. So Dmytro Kuleba, our foreign minister, provided a very detailed account of why Russia is like illegally on the Security Council of the UN, and I will explain to you what's going on. So, but before that, hi, for those of you who are new, hi, my name is Yulia, and I was born and raised in Lviv, Ukraine, where I lived until I was 16 years old. Then I moved to the United States, and I've been living in New York ever since. So that's been 12 years now. My family, my whole immediate family, lives in Lviv, Ukraine today. That includes my dad, my mom, my grandmas, my grandpa, and my aunt. And now, my mom's dog that she continues to insist is my little brother. But, we're dealing with that. So, hi, young conservative show. So that too. Every day on this platform, we do live streams where we talk about news that happened in and pertaining to Ukraine in the past 24 hours, and we break them down, give them political, geopolitical, and historical context, so it's easier for you to understand the invasion and how we ended up here. And this stream is currently airing on 4 different platforms at the same time, and that is TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter for now. Because I don't know if I can tolerate Elon Musk for much longer, especially after he had supported Medvedev's, who was a former Russian president, former Russian prime minister, and now he holds I don't even know at this point what position in the Russian government. It's very fluid, but he supported his tweet that I'm also going to read out to you, and I think my patience is about there's this much left. But anyway, so on Twitter for now, my handle is the same across all of the social medias to easily find me. So if you prefer to watch this stream on any social media other than the one that you found me on, then you are welcome to switch over. The handle is exactly the same everywhere, and I would highly recommend that you follow me on YouTube if you don't yet, because twice a week I release shorter format videos. They're under 20 minutes long most of the time, except for the last one because it's a Christmas special, and they're called The Briefs, and they tell you everything you need to know about the invasion of Ukraine up until that date in under 20 minutes. So yeah, they're a very convenient way of getting all of your news for the week in a short period of time. But yeah, so basically today Ukraine introduced a detailed plan and detailed reasoning as to why Russia is illegally on the UN Security Council. So basically what ended up happening is that when USSR collapsed, all of the countries that were in the USSR had to apply for a membership in the UN. That included literally every single one of them had to apply for membership in the UN. Russia didn't apply. Russia decided that they're just a successor to the USSR, and therefore they automatically get their seat on the Security Council. Now, yes, they have deemed themselves as a successor to the USSR, but that does not grant them the UN Security Council seat, because the way that it's stated in the UN is that if a country basically stays with the same government, same structure, same everything, but changes its name and loses some territory, in that case, sure, the seat is rolling over. But if a country completely ceases to exist, which the USSR did, and everybody signed the document that the USSR is no longer an entity and it is ceasing to exist, and a country gains successor rights, however, changes its name, government, and is just a successor, right, a new country, then that seat is non-transferable. So Russia has had a UN Security Council seat for decades now. Literally over 30 years, illegally. They were supposed to apply for that seat, and they were supposed to go through the same process as every other country that has a seat there as well. You got different phones or something? Well, so I have a computer and my camera is hooked up to my computer and I stream through a streaming software and then TikTok is on my phone. But yeah, so basically that hi Ikaz. But so basically Russia's UN Security Council seat, it should not be there to begin with. So they have been making these decisions and using their veto power and just increasing their trail of crimes and sweeping up their own crimes for 30 years without having any legitimate basis for doing so or having that power. So today, Dmytro Kuleba spoke out in front of the UN Security Council. Hi, Peter. Happy holidays. In front of the UN Security Council and had demanded to launch the process of Russia's expulsion from Russia's expulsion from the UN, because again, their membership to begin with is illegitimate, and I really hope that the UN takes this seriously because, well, first of all, as I said, like over 20 times at this point, their membership is illegitimate, but also at this point, they have used their membership to sway results of different UN investigations. They have used their membership to veto investigations into them. They have used their membership to cover up their crimes, to get away without responsibility. They have used their membership they have used their veto power to get away scot-free from committing international crimes and from breaking the law internationally consistently. So there is a petition that I will be including in the link to the stream after we're done. That basically that is change. It's a change.org petition, and it aims to give you all the right steps, including signing that petition to ask the UN to investigate this matter and to expel Russia from their ranks. So if you're interested in helping bring Russia to responsibility, or, just take a genocidal nation off of the UN Security Council while they are invading another sovereign country, committing a genocide, and just lying through their teeth for the past 9 months and threatening nuclear warfare and holding a nuclear power plant hostage and all that lovely jazz. So, yeah, if you would like to see them not be on the UN because, their credentials for being there are just so convincing, I highly recommend that you sign that petition and, an aid in justice being restored at least to some degree. Are you okay? Vasil?
What?
Are you okay?
I'm okay.
Are the plates okay?
What?
Are the plates okay?
Plates are.
Okay. You guys heard that, didn't you? Hi, John. He's okay. He's still making noise. Well, yes, but I gotta make sure, But yeah. So, back to the important stuff. If you guys want to help, the world take a genocidal maniac off of the UN Council, you can do so by signing a change.org petition. By signing a change.org petition that I'm going to include in the description of the live once we're done with it today. With that said, Sin. No, Sin. Please don't do that. Those tapes are there for a reason, so I know where to put the tripod if I move it or you move it, because let's face it, you're going to bump into it a lot of times, a lot more than I'm going to bump into it, and it's going to move. And then John is going to have so much more to complain about with his perfect shot that he had set up and I moved. And now he has to set it up again because, crimes against humanity. Also, yes, I do talk to my dog like she's a human, so I am sorry. I will post the link everywhere, Sherry. Taz is asking if he's alone on Twitch. So if he is, someone please. No, Kayla should be there too. But yeah, so if he is, someone keep him company. Okay, so with that said, what did you guys do today? How was your day? How is everything going? I've asked this before, but I'm gonna ask it again. Did everyone get what they wanted for Christmas? I sense human. How is Cindy doing? Cindy doing okay. She's doing all right. She seems a little annoyed at me because I'm clearly not paying attention to her right now. Why am I like this? Why do I always unplug my camera for absolutely no reason? By accident. But yes, Cindy is doing good. She is slightly upset that I'm not currently paying attention to her, although I have for a very, very, very long time today. We've played. I gave her so many scratchies. She was so happy. I'm going to pay more attention to her once I'm done with streaming, and she's just going to have to deal with it. She is very cute, and her facial expressions are also very cute. And her facial expressions are also very, very cute, but you know, honey, you gotta learn some patience. I got like, that's good enough. Oh my god, crazy cat. Well, congratulations. Kayla got a new coffee maker with like an espresso latte function, and you are over the moon. Ooh, is that the Nespresso one? The one that's like the big one that has all of these like different functions? Because that one's really cool. I just don't drink lattes enough to justify it. Who else? Who else? Also, hi, Mashbuck. Good monitor light bar. Yeah, that was John's. So the light bars, if you guys don't, you guys don't see them on. You guys don't see them on. Yes, you guys don't see them on TikTok, but if you are on any other social media, then you will. Oh, don't see them on TikTok, but if you are on other social media, then you see them. Those light bars are John's present for me for Christmas. So it's a Keurig Cafe Essentials. Ooh, that's cool. It's cool. And Taz got a monitor light bar too. That's cool too. Oh my gosh, you guys went sick to London. Oh no, I'm so sorry to hear that. Well, Christmas is a state of mind. You can always celebrate on another day and make it. Yes. Okay. 1 second. Let me grab my dog because, of course, she wants me to grab her. But then the second that I will, she is gonna be upset that I did. So let me go pick her up, and we can make sure that I'm right because I know my dog well enough. Hello, I'm here. Hi, Bubs. Bubs, I'm also going to let you know that you are kind of big. You're kind of large. And it's kind of hard to like maneuver with you. So, Sin. Hello. Hi. Hello. Hello, Bubs. What's up, Bubs? Okay. Hello. Yeah. So, yes. Can I help you? So this is Cindy. If you guys haven't met her yet, she is incredibly needy. She's a French bulldog. She is consistently preventing me from doing the news in a timely fashion because she wants attention. She wants it now. She wants it always. And she wants to be in my lap while she's at it. So she's also a mascot of our channel. Kind of. Yes. So she's your master. Oh, yes, I do live in her world. I do live in her world. It's not that she lives in mine. I live in Cindy's. Grumpkins, you know I don't like when you lick my face. You know I don't like it. Yes, we're gonna get to news for in 1 second. I just have to attend to, this little creature who really, really, really won't leave me alone unless she gets the amount of scratchies she wants. So, that's my life. I just have to give her what she wants. Otherwise, she's gonna sit there and make these excruciating, heart-wrenching toddler noises. Kat says, I don't think she cares. I don't think she cares what you want. No, she doesn't. She abso-freaking-lutely doesn't care what I want at all. Also, for the first time ever, you guys on TikTok are getting a much better angle of Cindy. Oh my god. For those of you who are just joining, you're here at the time at which this little grumpkin has coerced me into taking the time out of the stream to give her as much attention. Does Cindy get Theragun massage? John tried yesterday. She's so scared of it. She's like terrified of Theragun. She's terrified of it. She didn't like it. Anytime I turn it on now, she just runs away. It's like, imagine having this life. You just kind of go, oh. Yes, that's your noise. And you just get like a personal masseuse who is just like scratching you all over the place. Can I help you, Sin? Oh my gosh. Can I help you? Okay. Say bye. Are you going to be okay for like an hour? Are you going to be okay? And then we're going to go on a long, long, long walkie. Was that a no? It better not have been. Oh my god. Okay, come on. Come on, Grumpkin. Good girl. Okay. I hope you find that amount of attention to be acceptable, Sin. Because now you really need to leave me alone for a sec. Why are you still sitting there giving me that face? Cindy, that is so not fair. I'm going to ignore your very, very cute face now because you're just being a spoiled little brat now. And that is not how I raised you. That is not how I raised you. Actually, that is exactly how I raised you, unfortunately. Our turn for scratches. I don't have a dog. Taz says I don't have a dog when my vacuum is on. No, she doesn't care for the vacuum. She just kind of like looks at it, but she does not like the Theragun. She does not like it at all. And she wasn't scared of it like originally. She just didn't like it when John tried on her, and she just absolutely not. We're not doing this. Not my thing. Not gonna happen. And that was kind of funny, I'll tell you. Okay, so what is going on and why is this not updating? Okay, let's try it again. Interesting, because my Telegram is having John making appearances in streams now, or just briefs? John is probably only gonna appear on Hi Truthful. John is probably only gonna appear on premieres. I don't think he's gonna be making lots of appearances in streams. Maybe like once in a blue moon. I think we are gonna do a Q&A at some point too, which is gonna be helpful. And you guys can ask questions and stuff like that, because I feel like it's it's good to sort of like get to know him a little better, but also not too much, because at the end of the day, he's not the one who decided to put his life out there for the internet to see. I am. And so we have agreed that if we do a Q&A, it's mostly going to be like oriented towards asking him questions about me, I guess. I just love all these technical difficulties you do. Do you? Because I really don't. I really, really don't love these technical difficulties. Rule number 1, no mention of camera focus situation. Well, if you want to be on John's good side, then yes, you do mention the camera focus situation. Anyways, so we are going to start today. We're going to start the stream today. And we are going to start it with some interesting news. Let me just get to them. So, do you remember? Okay, so first of all, we did talk about how Ukraine made a proposal to expel Russia from the UN Security Council. And Dmytro Kuleba, who's our foreign minister, was the one who made that proposal and who explained why Russia is not supposed to be on the UN Security Council to begin with, and their membership on it has been illegitimate this whole time. And I've explained it earlier in the stream already. However, I've explained it earlier in the stream, but I'm going to iterate it again. Basically, on the UN Security Council, everybody argues that Russia has the rights to the seat because they are the successor of the USSR, and the USSR had the seat. However, it's not how it works, because in the UN rules, it does say that if a country ceases to exist, which the Soviet Union did, and everybody signed the document, signing that they agree that the Soviet Union ceases to exist. So basically, if the country ceases to exist and another country is its successor, but they change the name, change the government, change everything, then they have to reapply. They don't get the seat based on the successor rights. But if the Soviet Union didn't cease to exist and it just decided to morph into Russia, or it decided to rebrand into Russia legally, because it did just rebrand into Russia, but on a legal level, it did cease to exist. So Russia was not supposed to inherit that seat. It was supposed to apply for it, and it never did. So technically, Russia is not even supposed to be a member of the UN, because it literally, it just never submitted any documentation or applications. So it has been making all of these decisions, all of these all of these decisions, all of these, they have been using their veto power that they never had. They have been covering up their crimes, and it's been going on for over 3 decades, and it's time to end that. So Dmytro Kuleba today was arguing for it, and I am going to put a link into the description of this stream. Actually, let me try and do this now so you guys can sign it. I'm also going to drop it in the chat just so you can have it. So, Russia UN expulsion petition. There is a petition that should be signed if you want to help expel Russia from the UN Security Council. And the petition is at the petition is, well, this can't be the right one, because this is at just this is at just so little signs, and this petition has been out for a while. Oh wow. Okay, well, so there are multiple petitions on change.org. So let me find the one that has been circulated around by Ukrainian authorities, so I don't include something that's wrong. But you know what? We might as well sign all of them, because why not? But yeah, so there is a petition that you guys can sign to help speed up the process for the UN to take this seriously. And I think it's 20,000 votes that it should get, 20,000 signatures that it should get for the UN to have to react to it. So let's get it there. So yeah. Okay, Chief of the Military Intelligence Kirill Budanov says that no radical changes in the situation on the front line are expected this winter. Russia is now in a deadlock, and the only place where it is still trying to attack is Bakhmut, he said in an interview with Liga.net. As for the return of Crimea, Budanov is confident that Ukraine will return all the lost territories. Crimea will be returned in a combined way, by force and diplomacy. But nothing will happen without force. Our units will go there with their weapons in their hands, he assured. Because basically, Russia is not just going to give up Crimea like that. It's not going to give up Crimea diplomatically. Well, Russia's not going to do anything diplomatically. But the way that Ukraine is planning on doing it, as noted so far, is we are planning on receiving so many victories in the battlefield that we are basically going to give them an ultimatum. Sinunya, please. General Staff says in temporarily occupied Horlivka, Donetsk region, all doctors are obliged to donate blood for wounded occupiers. So basically, in Donetsk region, in the occupied territories of Donetsk region, all of the doctors in all of the hospitals are required, like, so you don't have bodily autonomy, you don't get to decide, but you are required to donate your own blood as a doctor for the wounded Russian soldiers. Sin? She's like staring at me. Cindy, you're being incredibly rude right now. Incredibly rude. You're acting like a toddler. I love you. Stop it. Okay. Rogozin, if you remember, Rogozin was injured in an explosion in a restaurant in the pseudo-Donetsk People's Republic. And he was wounded with shrapnel in his butt. And I included that in the brief that aired this Wednesday, not the recent one, but the one before that. So if you haven't seen that yet, go look it up. And he's now threatened with paralysis due to shrapnel wounds, according to Russian media. And here is a quote. I am lying down preparing for surgery. The fragment is in the cervical vertebrae. It is impossible to leave it because of possible paralysis, and pulling it out is also a problem. They're thinking how to pull it out. Sinona, this is unacceptable. It's like legitimately unacceptable, dude. Unacceptable. You have a bone. You have a whole bone. Attend to it. Okay. Today, in international news, something very, very interesting happened. 5 drones launched from the DPRK, which is North Korea, crossed the airspace of South Korea, the Ministry of Defense of South Korea reported. It is also reported that a South Korean Ka-1 attack aircraft crashed shortly after taking off from the base, trying to resist the UAV. The pilots survived. Kia ora. Hi, how are you? So basically, that is a very big deal because that is a violation of South Korean airspace. And as we all know, there's always some sort of tension between South and North Korea. And thank you so much. Sin, what is going on? I seriously, it's been 40 minutes of this stream, and I can't get my dog to stop being a toddler. Cindy, come here. Come here. Come here. Dude. Come on. You gotta go. Cindy wants stream time. Cindy wants stream time. Cindy wants attention all the time. It's like I can't have 5 minutes out of the day where I dare to not pay attention to Her Highness. I can't have 5 minutes out of the day where I don't pay attention to you. What's your problem, Sin? What are you trying to do? Come here. Come on. Well, you got to put at least a little bit of an effort into it. Cindy has something to say about the news, 100%. Okay, so basically, as I was saying, and don't you dare, as I was saying, violating South Korea's airspace on behalf of North Korea is a very big deal because that could result in their tensions increasing, and that could result in a conflict forming again. Well, not again, because there has been like an unspoken conflict between the two countries for a while now. Wasn't your dog born in Ukraine? Yes, she was. Okay. 1 second. I'm sorry. This is just this can't go on like this. Cindy, here's what we're gonna do. Cindy is dramatic. Cindy is incredibly dramatic. Thank you. Okay. Give me 2 seconds. I'm gonna go grab a treat, even though you don't deserve it. And I'm gonna go give it to her. And I'm gonna let her get to her bed, which is behind me, so she can like STFU for a second because I love my dog, but Jesus. 1 second. I will be back. Come on, Sin. You little grumpy gremlin. Come on. Gosh. It's fine. Just get a new one. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's not a big deal. I'm just annoyed because my dog is making my life significantly more. Come on. Come on. Dude. Okay. Listen. Hello. Hi, guys. I'm back with this crazy creature. Come here. Here. Good girl. Oh my gosh. Good girl. Here. Go. Now go sit in your bed. Oh my God. What? That's Cindy. I do not have any more treats. You don't get any more treats. Go to your bed. Oh my gosh. And there was a glass that broke in the aftermath of those noises that you heard earlier. Okay. Cindy wants her toenails painted. You guys are too funny. No. Okay. Now, hopefully, we're going to be able to do the stream without 50 million interruptions from my incredibly needy dog. Kazakhstan sent 41 generators to Ukraine. Oh, that's awesome. Those are awesome news. Yeah, I saw that. That's amazing. We're really grateful to Kazakhstan. I'm very happy that Kazakhstan took a very different position than a lot of people expected. Okay. Kirill Bodanov says no traitors have been detected in the defense intelligence of Ukraine during the war. Head of the intelligence stressed that internal security is constantly working in his agency. And those are good news because a lot of diversionists and a lot of separatists, so like hired people that, that basically betrayed Ukraine and went on the side of Russia and were giving Russia information for money, for resources, for whatever it is that they were promised, were spotted in other areas during the invasion. So it's really great that the defense intelligence of Ukraine has not had an issue with that. Okay. Erdogan says that West is engaged in only provocations in Russia's war against Ukraine. As for mediation, we as Turkey assumed this role in 2022 and we operated the Black Sea grain corridor. Okay, so here's the thing. Exactly. You assumed this role and you're not very good at it because you're not mediating anything. To me, it's so incredibly just overstepping the boundaries that Turkey is assuming the role of the mediator between Russia and Ukraine. Because first of all, Turkey has done nothing but made a ton of money on new partnerships with Russia, while basically no one but Turkey and China. But Turkey and China is willing to cooperate with them. So they're basically monopolizing on that market and seizing the moment. And Turkey saying anything against anyone and trying to portray themselves as this like noble country who just wants everybody to be friends and wants to do good is At best laughable. It's laughable because facts point to the other way, and Erdogan being so incredibly condescending about it and saying that, oh, the West is engaged in only provocations. The West is engaged in helping Ukraine survive. Turkey is engaged in monetizing off of the conflict, basically performing war profiteering. So, you know, I don't think he has any credibility to say anything. Um, okay. Russian mobile operators failed to agree with Apple on the support of VoLTE and Wi-Fi functions on their networks for the iPhone 14 line of phones. Those features improve the quality of communication and calls via LTE in large cities of Russia and account for more than 60% of voice traffic. Also, high quality voice transmission is not available on the iPhone 14, and the distribution of the internet from the phone requires manual configuration. The functions of voice over LTE and calls over Wi Fi, as reported by users of the profile from a forum for PDA, work incorrectly or do not work at all on iPhone 14. Phones imported to Russia. The reason for this is inevitably to apply the operator settings due to restrictions on the part of Apple, the press serviceman of Wimpelcom Beeline explained. The Tele2 operator added that VoLTE and VO Wi-Fi are enabled on the operator's network after testing with the vendor, but since March, interaction in all projects with Apple has ceased. This is reported by the Russian edition of Kommersant. So basically, as you remember earlier, Apple has exited the Russian market, but Russians can still circumvent the sanctions and circumvent that by buying phones like from Kazakhstan or from like Azerbaijan or from Armenia or from Tajikistan, from other countries, right? However, in order for these phones to be functional, Apple has to have contracts with Russian service providers. And otherwise, they just have the body and the shell of a phone that doesn't perform all of its functions. And Apple Store is not supposed to work in Apple Store is not supposed to work in Russia, so it would be very hard for them to download programs unless they jailbreak it and stuff like that. So it does look like you would have to pay as a Russian a ridiculously high sum of money to get a phone for yourself from a different country, and then you do get that phone and it is not really capable of working right because, well, phone service providers do not have permission from Apple to have these phones working right. So that's kind of good news because, yes, great. That's what you get for trying to circumvent sanctions. A warehouse with an area of almost 2,000 square meters is burning in Novosibirsk. First, explosions were heard, then smoke arose and flames broke out. This is an unbearable smell. There is an unbearable smell of plastic. So, see, targets like these, I'm willing to believe is the work of Ukrainian intelligence that's in the territory of Russia, because plastic could be used in like drones. Plastic could be used in a lot of other military equipment and gear. So it makes sense to target a warehouse or a factory that has something to do with plastic production. So here is what that looked like. And this is just another view of the fire. So yeah. Then in Moscow, there were military helicopters spotted flying over the city, which is interesting because I think that, I don't think, I know that now that there have been lots of these fires, now that Engels airfield has been attacked again, so it has now been attacked multiple times, now that there have been strategic objects that have had explosions on them, I know that Russia is most likely panicking and doesn't know if Ukraine is using drones, if Ukraine is doing this on the ground. So these military helicopters are likely there to protect the Kremlin, to protect Russian parliamentary structures from a strike from Ukraine. So they are panicking, they're freaking out, their air defense is not working. As they stated earlier, they were not prepared for an invasion, and they were not prepared for airstrikes or the need for air defense. So it needs to be, and I quote, resurrected, because they weren't expecting the need for air defense, which is funny because, again, let me remind you that Russia said that it attacked Ukraine because if it didn't, there would be an inevitable invasion from NATO onto Russia. So they said that they were expecting an attack from NATO onto Russia. So they would need air defense. But then they said just now that they're not prepared because they didn't expect an attack from NATO. But NATO was supposed to attack them, and that's why they attacked Ukraine. Right? Right? Huh. Interesting. But yes, Generalissimo says helicopters are generally not as well suited for air defense, used for air surveillance mostly, for sure. But also, again, air surveillance is that's exactly what I meant. Hi, Lulu. That's exactly what I meant by saying that, as in, like, they're trying to see, they're trying to, like, feel it out, they're trying to see what's happening, they're trying to make sure that they don't miss anything, but also whether their helicopters are suited or not suited for air defense. The thing is, they don't really have developed air defense. So they will take what they get. On Monday, December 26th, a monument to Russian writer Maxim Gorky was dismantled in Dnipro. According to Suspilne Dnipro, earlier the city has already removed monuments to Pushkin, Dubinin, and now it's Gorky's turn. On Monday morning, equipment appeared near the monument, with the help of which the pedestal was removed from the place where it was located. Maxim Gorky was a Russian and Soviet writer, playwright, prose writer, poet, and publicist. Ukrainian writer Mykola Khvylevy called Gorky a preacher of Russian messianism. Yeah, Gorky was, and Gorky is an incredibly pro-Russian, Russian-glorifying Russian writer, and unfortunately in Ukraine we have way too many monuments to figures like that, and we don't have nearly enough to our own figures like Vasyl Stus, like Taras Shevchenko we have a lot, and Ivan Franko we have quite a decent amount. But Lesia Ukrainka, we have so many different literary figures that are just amazing. We have so many activists that should be memorialized. And instead, we have these era monuments to, like, Russian figures. Why? So it's such an amazing thing that they're being removed. And beforehand, when we wanted to remove them before the full-scale invasion, the Nestor Makhno, yes, Nora, before the full-scale invasion, when we were trying to remove these monuments, the people of the pro-Russia the deputies of the pro-Russia party would always block that legislation. Always. And that's the party that ended up selling information to Russia, that ended up leaking information to Russia, that ended up basically most likely being the reason why Mariupol is in the condition it is in right now. The Russian Ministry of Internal Affairs has put journalist of the international group Bellingcat, Christo Groziev, on the wanted list. A criminal case was opened against him, but it is unknown under what article. Christo Groziev is a Bulgarian man who is a pretty worldwide famous journalist, and he has been posting a lot of information about the Russian invasion. And therefore Russia, considers him the enemy of the state. Ukraine initiated the process of expelling Russia from the UN. Ukrainian Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba said that Russia occupied the USSR seat at the United Nations. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs officially stated its detailed and reasoned position on why Russia's membership in the UN Security Council and the organization as a whole is illegitimate. And we had just gone over that in detail, so if you missed it, you can rewind the stream later on and listen to it. We talk about it pretty early on in the stream, and then we talk about it like halfway through as well. So just FYI. Also, I feel like right now is a good time to say this again. Hi, my name is Yulia. For those of you who are new, I was born and raised in Lviv, Ukraine, and I lived there until I was 16, at which point 12 years ago, I moved to New York City, and I've been living here ever since. My whole immediate family, including my dad, my mom, my grandmas, my grandpa, and my aunt, all live in Lviv, Ukraine. On this channel, we talk about, on this channel every day, we do live streams breaking down the news the news that come out from and pertaining to Ukraine. In the past 24 hours, we give them historical, geopolitical, political, and otherwise relevant context, and basically we discuss it so everyone can better understand what's happening and understand the reasoning that dates back in time for certain events if need be. Now, this stream is airing on 4 different platforms at the same time. It's TikTok, it's YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. If you prefer any one of the platforms that I just mentioned more than the one that you found me on, you are welcome to switch. And it's easy to do because my handle is the same across the board, so you can easily find me. So my YouTube is the same as my TikTok, Twitter, Twitch, and everything. So you are welcome to do that. I would highly recommend that you follow me on YouTube because I release videos twice a week right now, and then it's going to be more because we are coming out with a new segment. And twice a week, I release video news summaries that are under 20 minutes that basically walk you through everything you need to know that has happened in Ukraine pertaining to the invasion in the week so far. And it's under 20 minutes, so it's in a very, very convenient format. And there is a new segment coming out that John suggested to call FAQU, so FAQ you, blank answered, and it will be like Ukraine answered, Azov answered, Maidan 2014 answered, and this segment is basically going to take some of the most frequent comments from like user 35878 and kind of like debunk them, but on a factual level. So basic here, you know what? I'm going to read you the description that I put in the YouTube community tab to explain what this segment is going to be about, because I've heard so many times, especially from Ukrainians, that we are so incredibly tired of explaining to our like foreign friends, our like grandmas, grandpas, colleagues, Betty from Facebook, why it's not a proxy war, why Ukraine didn't bomb Donbass and stuff like that, because what? Community posts aren't currently available on this device. Oh my, okay, one sec. Basically, so if someone is asking you questions that you are so tired of answering, like, or saying things that you're so tired of explaining over and over and over again, because especially as a Ukrainian, I can tell you, it gets tiring to explain it every single time. And we get these questions on like daily basis. So here's what this segment going to be like. It's going to be called, and you can go vote in the community tab for the topic you want to have first. And basically here it is. Earlier, I discussed a new segment coming to the channel soon. FAQU blank answered. All of us have at some point experienced fatigue in explaining a common misconception, ignorant belief about Ukraine to our friends, relatives, colleagues, Karen from Facebook over and over again. At least that's the conclusion I drew from conversations with the community. Then a friend of mine said, when someone says something stupid about Ukraine or asks me an annoying question, I just send them your TikTok. And then it hit me. How convenient would it be if we could just send a copy-pasted response to all of that dumb questions and statements? One that would quickly and in depth explain why Azov aren't Yazis and why Maidan wasn't a US-sponsored coup. So with that in mind, I'd like to create this copy-paste response and a series of YouTube videos factually explaining why user 125 whatever is wrong. So there is a poll of what you guys think you want to see as the first topic. So you can go vote on that in the community tab, and obviously all of your suggestions are going to be taken into the consideration. And the new brief Christmas edition is up, and it just aired today with a bit of a delay because normally it comes out on Monday, and it's there. So if you want to watch it, So if you want to watch it, you should, because it's it's a great breakdown of everything. Okay, no longer friends. Traditional meeting of Joulupukki with Ded Moroz was cancelled in Finland. According to Finnish broadcaster Yle, the reason for this was Russia's attack on Ukraine. So I probably butchered the name of the Finnish Santa, but Finnish Santa and Russian Ded Moroz, this is a Russian Santa. You can also find out more about Ded Moroz in the brief, by the way. Usually meet every year, and this year it has been cancelled because Russia has attacked Ukraine. The first meeting of Christmas characters took place 11 years ago in the border town of Tomayarvi. The action was called Christmas Begins at the Border, and its purpose was to develop cooperation between Finland and Russia. Well, that didn't age well, did it? Well, I'm happy that the Finnish Santa is not. I'm happy that the Finnish Santa is now not trying to be friends with the Russian Santa, and I'm happy that the Finnish Santa has gotten rid of this toxic friendship. It's always good to recognize when to let go of toxic relationships, and I'm glad that Santa knows how to do that. At least the Finnish Santa does. So yeah. The UK Ministry of Defense believes that the Russian army will face a number of problems due to the location of minefields along the front line. Minefields are only an effective obstacle to trained troops if they are covered by observation and fire. The main problem for Russian troops is likely to be a lack of surveillance equipment and trained personnel to effectively monitor large areas of new minefields, the ministry said in its daily report, citing intelligence data. The British Ministry of Defense notes that since October, Russian troops have mainly focused on building defensive positions along many sections of the front line in Ukraine, including the installation of additional fields of anti-tank and anti-personnel mines. So here's the thing. They do install a lot of those like fortifications, and they do dig a lot of trenches and stuff like that, which is weird, right? Because the warfare is now mostly done by drones, and none of these things are going to prevent you from being hit by drones. The reason why they do that is because a lot of those like newly mobilized people, they need something to do. And if they're not doing that, they're going to be drinking, they're going to be arguing, they're going to be potentially like injuring each other, they're going to be going rogue and going ham. So one of the reasons why they make them do these like fortifications, even though they know that those are useless, is to keep them occupied and keep them busy. An employee of the German Federal Intelligence Service accused of spying for Russia was suspected of passing secret data on the situation in Ukraine to Moscow. According to investigators, he could have been blackmailed. This is reported by the German edition of Tagesschau. After the arrest of an employee of the Federal Intelligence Service on charges of espionage, the scale of the alleged betrayal became clearer. The detainee, among other things, allegedly passed secret assessments on the situation in Ukraine to Russia. At the same time, the prosecutor's office believes that he may have done so under pressure of blackmail. So far, the federal prosecutor and the intelligence service have refused to comment on the situation as the investigation is still ongoing. Kazakhstan will not impose sanctions against Russia. This was stated in an interview by the Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Republic, Mukhtar Kliuberdi. According to him, this could harm close economic ties with Russia. At the same time, he assured that Kazakhstan is not going to help Russian companies to circumvent the restrictions already existing in the EU. Well, that's kind of an oxymoron statement, because Russians having free access to Kazakhstan and Russians having free entrance to Kazakhstan already pretty much circumvents those sanctions, because they can go there and say buy washing machines and buy other gear where they could take the chips from and put those chips into drones. Because as far as like, as you know, they have been stealing washing machines, they have been stealing household electronics, because they take the chips from there and put them into military equipment, because no one will sell. Well, not no one, now no one, but a very limited amount of companies was selling it to them, and that's how they keep their military industrial complex going. So it's quite a contradictory statement, and I'm kind of surprised by it, because Kazakhstan has made their position about Russia very clear in the past. Also, Kazakh people are incredibly annoyed with the amount of Russian people that cross the border into Kazakhstan and demand their rules and don't want to learn Kazakh and don't want their kids to learn Kazakh in schools and kind of like try to dictate their rules, sort of do what Russians normally do. So it's strange to me that Kazakhstan would refuse to sanction Russia, because at this point that would help them separate from Russia and, and just go on with their life. One of the richest Russian businessmen, pro-Putin MP Pavel Antonov, died in India. He fell from the third floor of the hotel. Indian police are investigating the what was deemed a self-unaliving. Gosh, those windows. Not only in Russia now, but just Russians and windows and doors and staircases and just spaces you can enter through and exit through. Gosh, dear Russia, well, not dear, but hey, dear Russians, I don't know what it is with you and doors and windows and staircases and other regular methods of um, just going from a space to a space, but you really need to learn to stay away from those because they seem to be cursed for you. Anyways, NDTV channel reports that 2 days before Antonov's death, one of his friends, whom NDTV calls Vladimir Bidinov, was found dead in the same hotel. Oh, how convenient. Maybe the windows are cursed. Russian troops are shelling Kharkiv region, said Oleg Syniehubov, head of the RMA. An air alert has been declared in the region. NATO Secretary General expects Sweden and Finland to join the alliance in 2023. In occupied Melitopol and Genychevsk Ukrainian underground reminds Russians that this is Ukrainian land. Armin, no, I haven't. Could you please repost it? Would that be okay? Activists of the Yellow Ribbon movement in the temporarily occupied Genychevsk again distributed patriotic leaflets. It is with them that we remind the terrorists every day that Genychevsk is a Ukrainian city. Soon, the flag of freedom will fly all over the city, and Ukraine has won will be heard on the streets of the city. So basically, you guys remember the letter Y that is a symbol of resistance, right? And it has been popping up in Mariupol, it has been popping up in Crimea, and it is basically a symbol of Ukrainian resistance, of Ukrainian partisans in those occupied territories, because Y is the letter of the alphabet in Ukrainian that does not exist in Russian, among other letters, but Y also is a letter in the middle of the word Ukraina, which is Ukraine in Ukrainian. And so there is another movement, it's called the Yellow Ribbon Movement, and it's basically the same thing. And the yellow ribbon, because Ukrainian soldiers wear yellow ribbons. And this is another partisan movement in occupied territories that expresses the solidarity with Ukraine, and that basically reminds Russian occupiers that they are not on their land and they are in Ukraine no matter what they want it to be. So this is the yellow ribbon. This is also what I think I'm going to be adding as the next emoji whenever I have an ability to do so, because I get extra emojis on YouTube based on the amount of people that subscribe to YouTube. And with that, I do want to say that I do appreciate all of the super chats, all of the super stickers, all of the gifts on TikTok, all of these things. They do help a lot, and they do go a very long way. While they're not expected from you guys, they are incredibly appreciated. And also, if you do want to support my journalism, you can sign up for my Patreon. That is linked in bio on all of my platforms. Also, it's my Patreon is in the description of the YouTube videos, and you can also subscribe to the live subscription on TikTok, or you can join the YouTube channel, which is also a subscription. So if you would like to help out and if you would like to contribute, those are the ways that you can do so. I also have my PayPal link in bio on TikTok, and I believe on YouTube. But yeah. So if you'd like to contribute, that is very, very welcome and very, very appreciated. However, not expected. So thank you. Russians have once again changed the commander of the Western Military District, says Ukrainian intelligence. Sergei Kozylyov, who had been in charge for only a month, was dismissed from the post of the Western Military District commander. Instead, it will be headed by Lieutenant General Yevgeny Nikiforov. Well, obviously, they consistently, oh, thank you, truthful. Obviously, they consistently keep changing these commanders because they don't perform well in the tasks. And they think that changing these commanders is going to change something. But the funny thing is, or not the funny, the reality of the things is that Russians have some manpower. They don't have any equipment. They don't have any ammunition. They don't have any strategy. They really don't have a chain of command within like the lower chain of command of the military. So it's just very difficult to organize an army and build an invasion strategy, or like, even if it wasn't an invasion, even if it was a defense, it would be very, very hard to build strategy. So no matter how many times they change the commanders themselves are not their issue. It's the lack of like intermediary command roles. It's the lack of qualified soldiers who have been serving, who know what they're doing. It's the lack of equipment. It's the lack of ammunition. It's the lack of everything. It's the lack of winter uniforms, for God's sake. So it doesn't matter how many commanders you change, it's not likely to produce any results, really. Okay. India calls for immediate cessation of hostilities in Ukraine. Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, during a telephone conversation with President of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky, called for an immediate cessation of hostilities unleashed by Russia on the territory of Ukraine and returned to diplomacy. According to the website of the head of the Indian government, Narendra Modi also expressed India's support for any peace efforts and assured of India's commitment to continue to provide humanitarian assistance to the affected civilian population. Zelensky expects India to contribute to the implementation of the Ukrainian peace formula. So Ukraine is only going to negotiate with Russia on Ukraine's terms, which means that Russia will have to leave the territory of Ukraine. So there is no peace plan until Ukraine really like wins, because Ukraine is not going. We are not going to give up any of our territories. We're not going to give up on any of our people that live in occupation, and we are for sure not going to concede anything to Russia, because Russia is an aggressive invader who is also committing a genocide and has been proclaimed a terrorist state by multiple countries worldwide. So yeah, the peace plan is only going to happen once Russia leaves the territory of Ukraine, which is the outcome that we are working towards. Repair of Nord Stream damaged at the bottom of the Baltic Sea could cost 500 million, says the New York Times. A new aircraft will be built from parts of the destroyed Mriya. If you don't remember what Mriya is, Mriya in translation from Ukrainian means dream. And Mriya was the largest cargo aircraft in the world, and it was in Ukraine, built by Antonov plant. That aircraft was destroyed in the beginning of the invasion symbolically because Russians destroyed our dream. And so now plans were announced by the head of the Airfield Control Center, Volodymyr Smus. According to him, the surviving parts of the Mriya will be dismantled to build a new aircraft. In particular, 3 engines, the tail section, and some elements of the landing gear. And it was said that our Mriya is going to be built better, and stronger. So there it is. And those are the parts that are going to be included into the construction of the new. But yeah, also let me see, because Armin, hi Arno, Armin has sent the quote that he was talking about, and I missed it again. Okay, so okay, so here's the quote from Armin for the day. Nearest the king, nearest the gallows. Danish proverb. Another Russian oligarch fell to his death from a hotel window, this time in India. Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's the thing, you can't win if you're a Russian oligarch. If you're pro-Putin, someone takes you out. You're against Putin, someone else takes you out. It's just like, it's a really, really rough time to be a Russian oligarch right now. The head of the plant where almost all submarines of the Black Sea Fleet were built died suddenly in St. Petersburg. Flash mob of mysterious deaths of Russian managers and officials continues. Yeah, it's just, it's just a flash mob in Russia. They're all just trying to, one-up each other and stick to the same scenario. No big deal. Turkey refused 86% of Russian oil after the introduction of a price ceiling and a ban on tanker insurance, energy intelligence reports. In December, the country received only 2 cargoes of Russian Urals oil in the amount of 1.7 million barrels. Zelensky, in his evening address today, Bakhmut, Kreminna, and other areas in Donbass that require maximum strength and concentration now. The situation there is difficult, painful. The occupiers are spending all the resources available to them, and these are significant resources to squeeze out at least some progress. And this is not what Zelensky says, but no matter how many resources they're throwing there, Ukrainian defenders still hold their own, and Ukrainian defenders are doing the best they can, and they are persevering. Also, speaking of Russian oil prices cap and stuff like that, this is a prime time that I read you that tweet about Medvedev and what Elon Musk had to say to it, which tells you everything you need to know about Elon Musk if you didn't yet. So I will going to read you this, which is, in my opinion, the biggest demonstration of just Russian fascist wet dreams as a form of copium. And again, all you need to know about Elon Musk. On New Year's Eve, everybody's into making predictions. Many come up with futuristic hypotheses as if competing to single out the wildest and even the most absurd ones. Here is our humble contribution, humble being the keyword. What can happen in 2023? 1. Oil price will raise to $150 per barrel, and gas price will top $5,000 per 1,000 cubic meters. You wish. The UK will rejoin the EU. The EU will collapse after the UK's return. Euro will drop out of use as the former EU currency. Poland and Hungary will occupy western regions of the formerly existing Ukraine. I don't know why they're so incredibly focused and so they're like obsessed with this idea of Poland wanting Western Ukraine, yet Poland themselves don't. Nor does Hungary, because Hungary can't afford to sustain it. Anyways, the Fourth Reich will be created, encompassing the territory of Germany and its satellites, i.e. Poland, the Baltic states, Czechia, Slovakia, the Kiev Republic, and other outcasts. I thought that Poland was about to take Western Ukraine. What? War will break out between France and the Fourth Reich. Europe will be divided, Poland repartitioned in the process. All of this in 2023, okay? Northern Ireland will separate from the UK and join the Republic of Ireland. Civil war will break out in the US, California and Texas becoming independent states as a result. Texas and Mexico will form an allied state. Elon Musk will win the presidential election in a number of states which, after the new civil wars end, will have been given to the GOP. All the largest stock markets and financial activity will leave the US and Europe and move to Asia. You would want that, wouldn't you? The Bretton Woods system of monetary management will collapse, leading to the IMF and World Bank crash. Euro and dollar will stop circulating as the global reserve currencies. Digital fiat currencies will be effectively used instead. Season greetings to you all, Anglo-Saxon friends and their happily oinking piglets. Elon Musk commented, epic thread. Agreeing to the civil war in the US, agreeing to collapse of Europe, agreeing to collapse of dollar and euro, agreeing to the US and Europe basically being divided between like different nations and Mexico, agreeing to all of this. Epic thread, he said. So next time you want to defend Elon Musk for anything he does, think about the fact that Elon Musk wants a civil war in the United States and Elon Musk wants it to collapse. So, Merry Christmas. Ukraine, together with Spain and Portugal, has submitted a joint bid to host the World Cup to be held in the summer of 2030, the UAF reports in its Telegram channel. It is currently unknown which Ukrainian cities will host the tournament, but the statement of the Football Association says that the matches of the 2030 World Cup in Ukraine, Spain, and Portugal will emphasize the unity of Europe from Lisbon and Madrid to Kyiv, Donetsk, Luhansk, and Sevastopol. Russian World came to Mariinka School number 1 and Children's and Youth Sports School. Photo from an enemy tank. Demographers predict a catastrophic drop in birth rate in Ukraine in 2023. Next year will be the year of a catastrophic drop in fertility, and there are risks that by 2030 the population of Ukraine will be reduced to at least 35 million, according to the Mikhailo Ptucha Institute for Demography and Social Studies. Direct speech of the director of the institute, Ella Libanova. I dream that by 2030 there will be 35 million of us. Unfortunately, this may not happen because the war continues. We are losing people due to excessive mortality. These are not only the dead, but also those who die due to stress, overload, poor nutrition, lack of medical care. Also, according to Libanova, the low birth rate affects the country. We do not yet fully feel it, but 2023 will be the year of a catastrophic drop in this indicator, the academician of the National Academy of Sciences said. And that's really sad because that is a marker of genocide. Here is an update. Okay, here is an update from Bakhmut, and then straight away a bunch of videos coming out from Russia. So we are gonna do all that, and we're going to look at all of these things because we love us some Russian madness. Russian madness is our favorite segment in a lot of cases, but not all of them. Okay, but this one is an update from Bakhmut, and then we're gonna have Russian State TV, and then we're gonna have a intercepted Russian phone call. So here's a synopsis of what you are about to experience. Okay. All right.
Вітання, Україна.
Всім привіт.
Сьогодні ми з кумом на роботі, на своїй позиції. Працюємо по тим товаришам, які прийшли з-за перебріка. Кум, скажи, будь ласка, пару слів українцям із Бахмута ранком 25 грудня.
Ну, по-перше, всіх з католицьким Різдвом, всіх наших улюблених католиків. Бажаю їм всього самого найкращого. А всій Україні бажаю здоров'я і скорішої перемоги над нашими мишебратями.
Які нам...
Да, вже насипали за шкуру стільки всього, що будуть вони перевертатися і на тому світі.
Дякую, кум. Друзі, по оперативній ситуації за минулу добу в місті Бахмуті було та навіть не декілька, там більше 10 спроб штурмувати наші позиції. Всі були відбиті стратами для ворога. Мало того, на деяких напрямках наші підрозділи контратакували, повибивали цих товаришів із раніше займаних позицій. Але подетально говорити, там, розказувати де, що і як, по-перше, не маємо повноважень, по-друге, це колись хтось там за ці речі розкаже. Друзі, в місті Бахмуті Збройні сили не сидять в глухій обороні, в окопчиках, і нас там капець. У нас є артилерія різних калібрів, міномети і весь спектр озброєння, який застосовується проти ворога. І є і превентивні удари, і по глибині, в тактичній глибині по противнику працюють і Хаймерси, і РСЗО, і авіація застосовується. Так що, це СМІ так преподають рашистські інформацію, що типа вони тут капець, які круті перці, і роблять не пойме що. А насправді ж ситуація дещо інша. Майже півроку Бахмут стоїть, не тільки саме місто, а вся конгломерація.
You guys must love my technical difficulties, don't you? See, you didn't experience them on YouTube, but if you're on TikTok, you just saw my camera falling. Okay, so let's remove this one, and I will show you this lovely thing. What happened this time? Oh, it's just my face. Okay. State claims that America is tired of supporting Ukraine. So let's watch this lovely bit. And after that lovely bit, we're going to watch another lovely bit, which is a intercepted Russian phone call. Both of these things are probably some of my favorite rubrics, not because they're great, and not because I'm happy that they exist, not other than war not exist and this not exist, but at least it's a very good way of entertaining yourself with Russian coping, because it is genuinely like their way of coping, because the more ridiculous stuff they say, the more they're trying to cope with reality. Okay, so I'm going to try and put up both of these and just have them play one after another.
Так а что Вова звонил? Он дома? Нет, он не дома. Домой его никто не отправит. Их отправили на поезде в другие госпитали из Питера, потому что Питер переполнен, там экстренные, такие тяжелые очень. Сегодня, наверное, напишу, мне скинули Путину обращение, напишу, что, опишу всю ситуацию. Да нахуй, не надо ничего писать. Нет, я напишу от начала и до конца, до выплат. И вообще, что до сих пор такая погода и одежда не выдана. Я в ней не буду ходить, даже если ее выдадут мне. Выдали Валентину, она стоит в улице. Он не ходит, потому что у нее ноги сломаешь, как на коньках, подошва круглая. Поняла. А что ты там собралась Путину писать? Путину, по-моему, вообще похую. Ты ему напишешь, она один не дойдет. Я не знаю. Сказали, очень быстро реагируют. В течение 3 дней обращение рассматривается. И результат есть. И что? А какой результат? Выплаты, блядь, после 10-го. Пусть разберется по поводу выплат. Кто жалуется, пишет, блядь, всех нахуй, хуй знает, куда их увозят, блядь.
Even if we get the uniforms, we're not going to wear them because they're garbage. Quote, second strongest army servicemen in the world.
Зеленский слетал за океан поклянчить деньги. В свитере и штанах грузчика он заявился в Конгресс, где 82-летняя Нэнси Пелоси целовала ему руку. За такие ласки самый дорогой комик в мире потребовал многомиллиардный гонорар. Из США наш САПКОР Денис Давыдов.
Купать в овациях гостя должны были все члены Конгресса. Спикер Пелоси каждому прислала пригласительное письмо, но аншлага не случилось.
Я не слушаю эту речь, потому что я не хочу быть частью декорации, выпрашивающей у правительства Соединенных Штатов еще больше денег.
Из 213 конгрессменов-республиканцев 86 не пришли.
Ваши деньги – это не благотворительность, это инвестиции в глобальную безопасность и демократию, которые мы обеспечиваем самым ответственным образом.
Украинские журналисты не поленились, посчитали. Зеленскому стоя аплодировали 21 раз. Перебор, считают уже американские медиа.
Good point, sir. Ooh, we're so pleased you're here. Oh, they laugh and they clap like seals.
Они хлопали, как тюлени. Почти все хлопали, как тюлени. Что бы ни говорил этот человек, одетый как грузчик, пришлите мне больше денег. Я приказываю вам, пришлите мне больше денег. Мы позаботимся об этом самым ответственным образом. А они аплодируют. Все. Как будто должны.
Пара смельчаков в зале нашлась. Не стерли ладони конгрессмены Гаец и Боебард. Они не вскакивали, а демонстративно сидели. В Вашингтоне чувствуется усталость от безразмерной помощи Украине, отметил Блумберг. В новом бюджете Киеву предусмотрены 45 миллиардов долларов, на что ушли предыдущие 50, никто не отчитывался.
До тех пор, пока Конгресс не получит полный аудит того, куда уже ушли наши деньги, я не поддержу отчисления дополнительных средств на эту войну.
Let me just point out how the full house didn't happen, and they proceed to show the full house in Congress. And they say that so many people didn't support this, yet they talk about how he was applauded 21 times and everybody was clapping. So, I mean, and then they show Tucker Carlson, Boebert, and Gates, which are arguably the most hated politicians in America. Well, I mean, Tucker Carlson is not a politician, he's a clown, but hey, Full House didn't happen. Look at everybody clapping to him 21 times with a standing ovation. The Full House didn't happen. No one showed up. Look at them idiots clapping. Quote, Russian media. I also in Russia like Zelensky is a comedian who became a president. Well, that is a much better situation, and that shows evolution, while your president became a clown. That is degradation. Those are two different things. And you know the first option, from comedian to president, who gets a standing ovation in the Congress of the United States, as opposed to president to clown, who gets his country almost expelled, hopefully soon expelled, from the UN Security Council and sanctioned more than North Korea. Olaf Scholz was criticized in Bundestag for lack of strategy in the issue of assistance to Ukraine. This was stated in an interview by the chairman of the Bundestag Committee on Defense, Marie-Agnes Strack-Zimmermann, referring to the slow pace of arms transfer to Ukraine. According to her, the supply of weapons should be planned in advance and not to respond to Kyiv's calls after the fact. Thank you. Thank you. She's fantastic. That is, I mean, that makes sense, right? Like planning ahead does make sense, right? It's funny because when I was talking to a German friend of mine, when I asked him why Olaf Scholz won the election, he said, oh, our other candidate was making fun of Germany while smoking cigarettes outside of like a convention through his running campaign, and we had no other choice because the other guy was just simply basically Trump, even worse. And I was like, oh, because no one in Germany seems to really like Olaf Scholz, you know? Okay. So here are some photos from the Bakhmut front lines. So, born a racer who's trying to pretend to be American on Twitch, Biden is by far way worse than Trump. If you are going to be paid Russian propaganda and you want to come off as being American, you should at least learn how to spell and how to write in English, because it's a dead giveaway when you use random words that make no sense. But if you are indeed American, as you say, and you don't even know how to speak your own language, then that is even more sad. And I would say, please return to middle school where they explain the difference between worse and worst to you. Because, if you don't know the difference between worse and worst, which I'm not going to tell you because, you should, then you really, really should reevaluate a lot of things in life. Imagine attacking my spelling because you have nothing else to say. No, it's just, if you're going to make a comment about which president is worst, which president is worst, then you should probably do so intelligently and intelligibly. But also, you should go back to history classes. I don't know what history has to do with Biden versus Trump, but sure, you go ahead and try to make sense of your argument. But do that after you are booted from here by my moderators. Oi. President of Iceland received Ukrainian children. The Christmas visit took place within the initiative Support Ukraine in Iceland. This project helps refugees to adapt to life in a foreign country. As a sign of gratitude, the support of the Icelandic people, the children brought the president handmade souvenirs, which is very sweet. Lithuanian foreign minister says Russia needs negotiations not about Ukraine, but about its own destiny. Yes. If Putin does not come back to reality, and if Russia does not come back to reality, there will be no Russia in the new reality. They need negotiations not about Ukraine, but about their own destiny. Recently, Putin said that Russia is ready to negotiate with all parties involved in the war in Ukraine. At the same time, the Italian Foreign Minister Antonio Tajani expressed doubts about Putin's readiness to negotiate on the end of the war and noted that his words do not match his actions. They don't, and also we're not going to negotiate with terrorists, and we're not going to negotiate with anybody until they leave the territory of our country. Serbian armed forces have been put on alert on the border with Kosovo. Also, the president of the country, Aleksandar Vučić, ordered to put the police and other units of the security forces on alert and place them under the command of the chief of staff of the army. Vučić has repeatedly put troops on high alert and removed them from the border with Kosovo in recent years. Recently, the government in Belgrade announced that it wants to deploy soldiers and police right on the territory of Kosovo in connection with the increasing ethnic tension. So, Serbia is very pro-Russian. And in the opinion of a lot of people from Kosovo, Serbia is doing this to divert attention. I believe so too, but again, that's just an opinion. So a couple of weeks ago, or maybe a week ago actually, I went to pick up the lights, John's lights, from my former place of employment because they've been there for a while. And there is an attendant in the building that lets you in and sort of like checks you in and stuff like that if you don't have the keys, which I did. But anyways, so I went there and I picked up the lights, and then I was waiting for an Uber because the lights were because the lights were like so heavy and there was just so much to carry. So I was like, okay, you know what? The Uber is $15. That's okay. I'm just going to grab that. So as I was waiting for the Uber that was like super far away, the attendant was like, hey, if I were you, I wouldn't wait outside because, this neighborhood, it's like the neighborhood is Soho, which is like right in the very center of New York City. But it's, according to him, has gotten like worse over the years through the pandemic during the night. And he wouldn't recommend me to like stand outside, alone, wait for the Uber. So he was like, just stand here. And I could hear that he has like a slight bit of like an Eastern European sounding accent, but I couldn't tell where it was from. And then he said, he was like, do you live nearby? And I was like, no, I'm actually going back to Brooklyn. He was like, oh, I live in Brooklyn too. And he said he lives in Sheepshead Bay, which is a notoriously like Russian/Eastern European neighborhood, but chances of somebody from Sheepshead Bay being Russian are very high. And so I was like, are you Eastern European by any chance? And I was standing there mentally preparing myself for him saying I'm Russian, right? And me just trying to be very content with it and just, leave. And he goes, I'm from Kosovo. And I was like, oh, I'm from Ukraine. And both of us just like looked at each other with this, I understand you kind of, look. And it was very nice because we didn't have to say anything really. It was just like an understanding. And then my car got there and I went to get into my Uber and he stood in the door waiting to make sure that I got into the car safe. And that was the interaction, and it was really pleasant. But we did have a little bit of time to talk about Kosovo and Russia and Serbia and all of this. And in his opinion as well, it is just Serbia trying to stir up tension in order to distract on orders of Russia. Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban believes that Ukrainians can fight as long as the United States supports them with weapons and money. He said this in a Christmas interview with the publication Magyar Nemzet, the full text of which was published on December 28th. Orban noted that this year was the most dangerous in the last 30 years. According to him, Hungary is facing the danger of being drawn into the war in Ukraine, and rising energy prices are also pushing the country in a dangerous direction. What's pushing Hungary in a dangerous direction is its willingness to cooperate with a terrorist state. That's what's pushing Hungary in the dangerous direction. And what's pushing Hungary in the dangerous direction is Viktor Orban. So, potato. Russian media claimed that Vladimir Putin called an 8-year-old girl from the occupied Zaporizhzhia region and asked her to send cucumbers that her family grows on the territory occupied by Russia. I am going to play this because I don't even know what I just read, to be honest. I don't even know what I just read. That just sounds so absurd on so many levels. We're going to go explore this together. Reaching the part of the news that I haven't yet seen beforehand. So we are going to experience this together. 1 second, guys. I'm sorry. Please be understanding to my technical issues. Why? 1 sec. Oh my gosh. Always. Oh, airdrop failed. Okay, I know why it failed. Because, sorry guys, because I did not delete. Come on. I need to delete these. And then I need to delete them from the trash. Okay, so hopefully right now, no storage. Yeah, I really need to clean out my MacBook because there's a lot going on there and I haven't really taken care of it in a while. So it really needs some love. And I'm probably going to do that this weekend. Okay, yay.
Чем угощали? Баранки какие-то, печенье. Вкусно? Вкусно все было? Да, слава богу. Пожалуйста, Саша. Маме с папой передавай привет. Пришлешь мне тоже. Я знаю, вы выращиваете там огурцы, помидоры. Огурчиков пришлешь? Да, буду ждать от тебя тоже подарков новогодних. Ладно?
Yeah, so apparently Putin was trying to make it seem like, this girl was really happy about Russian soldiers who were giving her treats and stuff. The fact that they ruined her hometown and occupied her land and tortured people there is A-okay, as long as they brought bagels. And for the contribution to her situation, Putin would like for her to send him cucumbers that her family grows in her garden. Now, I don't know the legitimacy of this phone call. It might as well be staged, but also, what in the world is this? It's like Russian propaganda at this point is just so incredibly ludicrous. it doesn't even make sense. It doesn't even provide any value. It's like, what does he want? What does he want to prove by this? That a little girl is like happy to be occupied by Russia? The little girl like doesn't even know what's happening. Like as in you could tell a kid anything. It's absurd. Okay, Ukraine returned the bodies of 42 more fallen defenders, the Ministry of Reintegration reported. In total, the Commissioner for Missing Persons has already managed to return home the bodies of 869 defenders since his appointment. Russian troops shelled the town of Oleshki on the left bank of Kherson region. Mayor Yevhen Rishchuk reported 1 dead and 5 wounded. That is right across the river from that is rather right on the left bank, super close to Kherson. Armenian Prime Minister Pashinyan, at a meeting with Putin, directly expressed his complaints about the inaction of Russian peacekeepers in Karabakh, noting that they have not been controlling the critical Lachin corridor for 20 days. Explosions were heard in Kherson as of 10:51 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Statements of Hungarian Prime Minister demonstrate pathological disregard for Ukraine, according to MFA. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs has sharply commented on the recent statements by Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban that Russia's full-scale war against Ukraine will stop if the United States stops helping Kyiv with weapons. The statements of the Hungarian Prime Minister demonstrate pathological disregard for Ukraine and the Ukrainian people who are resisting Russian aggression, as well as his own political myopia. After all, Ukraine's defeat in the war, which Viktor Orban indirectly calls for, would lead for a direct threat of Russian aggression for Hungary and Hungarians. The ministry also noted that if the Hungarian leader really wants peace, he should use his close ties with Moscow to stop the aggression and withdraw troops from Ukraine. Exactly. Thank you. The threat to Hungary is Viktor Orban. Constitutional Court ruled constitutional the law obliging the UOC, so Ukrainian Orthodox Church Moscow Patriarchate, to change its name and indicate its affiliation with Russia. Yeah, because that is not a Ukrainian Orthodox Church. It is Russian Orthodox Church that also serves as Russian propaganda machine. Sweden has allocated an additional $19.2 million to support Ukraine's defense, the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine reports. Putin has banned the sale of Russian oil to countries that have limited its price. The corresponding decree will be valid until July 1st, 2023. It prohibits oil trading with legal entities if the contract uses price cap mechanisms. Exceptions will be made only by special decision of Putin himself. In early December, the EU officially set the price ceiling for Russian oil at $60 per barrel. The G7 countries also agreed to it. President Zelensky criticized this decision and said that the price of $60 per barrel instead of $30 would give the Russian budget almost $100 billion a year. Yeah, but that, now we don't have to worry about it. He thinks that if he bans, sale of oil, that all the EU is going to come back to him and beg him to change his mind and try to make concessions. But I don't think he understands that he's just not going to get any money at all, which is great. Italy is considering providing Ukraine with air defense equipment, Prime Minister Meloni in a conversation with Zelensky. The press service of the Italian government also indicated that the cordial conversation took place for the first time since October 28th, when the leaders of Italy and Ukraine last spoke. German Foreign Minister Annalena Baerbock denies the possibility of normal relations with Russia, which has carried out a full-scale invasion of Ukraine. We must be clear. There can be no normal relations with this Russia. Like many Russians, we want to see a peaceful and democratic Russia, which is not a threat to its neighbors. But let's not have illusions. We live in a different reality. That is why the task should be to strengthen our common security against Russia on a permanent basis, the German foreign minister said. Baerbock said this in an interview with the Romanian portal DG24. That's what I've said. I have so much respect for Annalena Baerbock. I think that a lot of Germans were underestimating her until this full-scale invasion. And every time that she has spoken so far, She's just so straight to the point. She's so direct. She doesn't like F around. She is very, very informed, and she is not scared of expressing her opinion. And Lena Baerbock is one of the politicians that I respect the most in Germany. In Kherson, Russians shelled a maternity ward of a hospital. In Kyiv, emergency power outages will last all winter, Kyiv State Administration. President Volodymyr Zelensky said that Ukraine was preparing the defense and security forces for the next year, and it should be a decisive year. We continue to prepare the defense and security forces of Ukraine for the next year. This should be a decisive year. We understand the risks of winter. We understand what we have to do in the spring, and therefore we understand what results the entire defense and security sector should demonstrate. Oh, St. Javelin's Warleak said I donated $100 to United 24 for Christmas. That's awesome. Thank you so much. I'm very happy that you did that. That is a very, very kind decision. Danilov says Russia started hiding its bombers because we can get them. If necessary, everything necessary to make the enemy troublesome will be delivered to the Primorsky territory and the Far East, the NSDC secretary said. So basically, because of the attacks on Engels airfield, Russia is now scared and it's hiding its bomber jets, which is exactly what we wanted to do. Fantastic. Great, 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 great news. Ukrainian, okay. Yeah, that is all I have for you guys for today. That concludes the news about Ukraine for tonight. Thank you for sticking around. Thank you for caring. Thank you for, thank you for staying with me throughout all of this time to learn more about Ukraine and to stay informed. Also, if you guys don't follow me on YouTube, I highly suggest that you do. My YouTube is the same as my TikTok. It's the same handle over here. It's also the same as my Twitter and Twitch and all of my other social media. You can find the link to my YouTube in my bio on all of the other social medias, and you can find the link to all of my other social medias in the description of my YouTube video. So every week, twice a week, I post short, brief news summaries about everything that happened in the week so far that pertains to the invasion of Ukraine that you need to know about. So it's a very convenient way of catching up on the news if you don't have time for streams or you don't want to read, or I don't know, you just want to catch up on the news. So please follow my YouTube. I'm also coming out with a new New York. I'm also coming out with a new segment soon that is going to basically be like a copy-paste response that you can give to your friends, family members, Karen on Facebook, Betty on Facebook, Greg on Facebook, who love to parrot Russian rhetoric and factually explaining to them why they're wrong, why Ukraine wasn't bombing Donbass for the past 8 years, and why 2014 wasn't a U.S. orchestrated coup, and why Yanukovych was not a democratically supported, amazing president that the U.S. decided to overthrow and install Zelensky instead, who actually didn't even come to be president until 2018, but I digress. And please don't forget to like this stream if you enjoyed it on YouTube. Don't forget to, I don't even know what you can do to help it on Twitch, because you guys know that me and technology are not very good friends. Please don't forget to send a like on TikTok. Also, to someone who said that I'm not on TikTok nearly as often as I used to be. Actually, I'm going to resume posting daily videos today. I couldn't do that beforehand for some trollish reasons. And tonight I'm going to post a new video after midnight because that's when I can start doing that again. And hi, Craig. And if you haven't watched today's brief yet, please go catch up on it. It's pretty good. It's a Christmas special. It tells you the history of Ukrainian Christmases, explains why we have to or had to, how Ukraine said no to Christmas, and just a lot more and just a lot more information that you might not have known that pertains to Ukrainian Christmas and holidays in general. And also catches you up on everything that's happening in Bakhmut, the aftermath of Zelensky's trip to DC. Of course, our favorite segment of Russian Madness. And this time I rank the 4 stories from my least favorite one to my most favorite one. And I would actually like to know if you agree with my ranking. And the last but not least is there have been some crazy international accusations being thrown around, some threats even, and also there's just been a lot of like international political drama. So yeah, so if you haven't followed the YouTube yet, please go follow it. It's the same as my TikTok, as my Twitch, and as my Twitter. And yeah, there's going to be a lot more interesting stuff that will potentially make your life in catching up with Ukraine much easier. And also, the new segment is definitely going to make your life easier in terms of responding to your distant aunt who believes that Ukraine is corrupt and therefore we just should cease to exist and it's okay for Russia to unleash a genocide on us. So yeah, you guys have a good night. Thank you for sticking around. I'm sorry for doing these very late lately. I am going to work my way to resuming the live streams at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard, but provided that I edit videos till 6 a.m. on most days, it is very, very hard to do. I just need to, well, me and John need to work out a schedule on which actually, before I go, here's what we thought we were going to do in order to make this a little easier on us and in order for us to not have to go to bed at 6 in the morning. I'm thinking that I'm going to change things up a little, and instead of doing like a short weekly recap and like focusing on the past 24 hours, I'm going to do a short recap of the past 24 hours and focus on the weekly recap in these briefs. That way, I will be able to record them on Tuesday and edit them by Wednesday midday, and then release them on Wednesday evening. And that way you guys will still have the same pertinent information, and I will still be able to like add breaking news and stuff like that. But that way you will get the briefs earlier. You will actually get them on Wednesday night, not Thursday morning. And we're not going to stay up till 6 editing these briefs, because if I want to include the information for Wednesday, then I can't start filming until 5 p.m. because that's when the news are done coming in for the day around then. And then we can't start editing until like 8 p.m. And then we're not done until 6 in the morning. And then that ruins my stream schedule. And then that ruins just everything because, if I go to bed at 6, I can't. I can't do a midday stream because I'm just a vegetable. And so, yeah. So if that's okay with you guys, that's what we're going to start doing. We're going to still do the regular format for tomorrow. And then starting Sunday, we're going to try out the new it's really not a new format. It's just a little bit restructured. And of course, Russian Madness is our favorite segment, and it's obviously going to stay. So no worries there. Okay, well, I shall see you tomorrow at some point. Tomorrow is Wednesday, so no stream, but because I have taken a Christmas break, I might do a short one and catch you up just a little bit. And I will see you soon. Bye, guys. So good to see you. Thank you for watching. Bye. Don't forget to watch the brief. And don't forget to comment on it. Don't forget to like it. Don't forget to subscribe. And don't forget to turn on your notifications. I'm watching you. Okay? And if you watched it already and you haven't left a comment, leave a comment. It helps. Pretty please. Okay, bye.